Chapter 1. Beneath the Stones of Time. In a revelation already stirring debate across the archaeological world, a team of Italian and Scottish researchers has announced what may be one of the most significant discoveries ever made on the Giza Plateau: the detection of a massive underground complex directly beneath the Pyramids of Giza. The research, conducted using advanced radar imaging, purports to reveal a network of subterranean structures extending over 6,500 feet, approximately 1,980 meters. The announcement, led by Corrado Malanga of Italy's University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi of the University of Strathclyde in Scotland, comes from specialists in geophysical imaging and anomalous phenomena. Both possess credible backgrounds in photonics and remote sensing. This isn't the first time the sands of Giza have shifted under the weight of controversy. In 1993, Rudolf Gantenbrink's Upuaut project sent a robot into one of the shafts of the Great Pyramid, uncovering what appeared to be a sealed door, triggering speculation about hidden chambers. Later in 2017, the Scan Pyramids mission employed muon tomography to detect an unexpected void above the Grand Gallery, a finding that was peer-reviewed and published in Nature. But this 2025 claim, if verified, eclipses all prior discoveries. What Malanga and Biondi suggest is not a single chamber or shaft, but something exponentially more extensive. What they cautiously describe as a massive underground complex. Some within the team have even hinted at the possibility of a long-lost subterranean city. To such a concept, while bold, is not without precedent in ancient texts or alternative archaeology. The Amduat, an ancient Egyptian funerary text, speaks of vast hidden realms beneath the western bank of the Nile. Likewise, esoteric writings such as the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean refer to the halls of amenti, great chambers of knowledge buried deep beneath the pyramids. Independent researchers, including Andrew Collins and Graham Hancock, have long argued that sacred geography and ancient myth point to the existence of underground structures at Giza. Collins, in particular, has documented local traditions and personal exploration in Beneath the Pyramids, 2009, describing entrances to tunnel systems known by locals but long dismissed by academic orthodoxy. From a technological perspective, this latest research rests on the growing credibility of remote sensing in archaeological discovery. SAR and related imaging systems used by NASA and the European Space Agency have previously revealed buried temples, roads, and even entire cities beneath jungles and deserts. Their application at Giza brings a new dimension to our understanding of what lies beneath. The implications of such a discovery would be staggering. If confirmed to be artificial, the complex would surpass all known subterranean sites in Egypt, including the Osiris Shaft near the Great Pyramid, the labyrinthine Serapeum of Saqqara, and even the Greco-Roman catacombs of Alexandria. More provocatively, it could suggest the existence of a culture capable of large-scale subterranean construction predating or existing parallel to dynastic Egypt. Chapter 2. The Voice Beneath the Sand. Nicole Schicolo, spokesperson for the emerging Khafre Research Project, addressed the world with the gravity of someone fully aware of the magnitude of what had just been uncovered. Her words were broadcast through international outlets including the Jerusalem Post. Though relatively unknown in academic circles, Schicolo now finds herself at the center of what may become one of the most significant archaeological developments of the 21st century. The Khafre Research Project, a multidisciplinary initiative focused on the second pyramid at Giza and its surrounding structures, appears to be leveraging next-generation technology: synthetic aperture radar, seismic microtremor arrays, and artificial intelligence to probe beneath the desert surface in ways never before achieved. Khafre's pyramid has long drawn attention, not only for its commanding presence beside the Sphinx, but also due to a series of persistent geological anomalies. As early as the 1990s, Egyptian geophysicist Amr El-Damati and later researchers such as Thomas Dobecki and John Anthony West reported signs of large cavities near the Sphinx. Findings that were never definitively refuted but quietly left unexplored. The new initiative stands on the shoulders of these earlier attempts, but is now armed with tools from space. The use of orbital radar tomography, originally developed for tectonic surveys and planetary geology, has reached a level of precision capable of imaging at unprecedented depths. As one space archaeologist put it, we are entering an era where archaeology can be conducted from orbit. What Sikalo and her team now suggest is more than a technological triumph. It is a conceptual turning point, an opportunity to reinterpret the very nature of Egypt's sacred landscape. The detection of structured voids and possible passageways beneath Khafre's pyramid may point to an entire layer of architectural planning hidden beneath the visible temples and tombs, a forgotten infrastructure, aligned not just with stars and seasons, but with the Egyptian vision of the Duat, the underworld realm of transformation. The king's soul descends into the earth, through the western horizon, and enters the secret pathways carved beneath the stars. Pyramid Texts, Utterance 306, Faulkner, 1969. To scholars of symbolic architecture, this discovery echoes long-standing interpretations that the Giza Plateau was more than a necropolis. It was a mirror of the heavens and a map of the soul's journey after death. Writers such as Schwaller de Lubitsch and John Anthony West argued that Egypt's monuments were expressions of a cosmological language encoded in stone and silence. Sikalo emphasized that precise spatial data from this discovery could help archaeologists trace patterns in the layout of the plateau that until now were hidden beneath layers of limestone and sand. Just as infrared imaging uncovered the buried city grid of Tanis in 2011, or as ESA-funded radar scans revealed forgotten tunnels beneath Pompeii in 2023, the sands of Giza may now give up their oldest secrets. Chapter 3. Seeing the Invisible. The extraordinary breakthrough at Giza owes its success to a novel application of synthetic aperture radar, SAR, a technology originally developed for Earth observation and planetary science. In this case, researchers combined satellite-based radar imaging with ambient seismic vibrations generated by natural Earth movements. The result, a non-invasive technique capable of producing three-dimensional images of hidden structures beneath the desert floor. Traditionally, SAR systems work by transmitting radar pulses from a moving platform, typically a satellite or drone, and synthesizing data over time to build high-resolution images. While its use in geological mapping is well established, its penetration capabilities in dry, sandy environments make it especially effective in places like Egypt's desert plateau. But what made this project unique was the integration of passive seismic data, capturing subtle tremors and ambient noise from within the Earth itself. By merging radar imaging with microseismic mapping, we gain a quasi-sonogram of Earth's upper crust, a method now viable for archaeological use. This fusion of radar and seismic data creates a layered volumetric rendering of the underground, allowing scientists to visualize structures without disturbing a single grain of sand. Similar approaches were tested in South America in 2019, when archaeologists at Chavín de Huántar in Peru used GPR and seismic modeling to map previously inaccessible ceremonial chambers. In Egypt, the implications are even more profound. For the first time, it appears that a 3D map of deep subsurface architecture beneath one of the most politically and culturally sensitive sites on Earth has been achieved without excavation. With tools such as voxel-based imaging and point cloud analysis, the raw radar and seismic data are filtered through machine learning algorithms capable of identifying artificial symmetry, angular corridors, and chamber-like formations. Patterns emerge, lines where none should be, voids with structured edges, and networks that suggest purpose. The revolution in non-invasive 3D imaging has moved archaeology from excavation to exploration, making the invisible visible. In 2018, a LiDAR survey in northern Guatemala revealed more than 60,000 previously unknown structures, temples, roads, and agricultural terraces hidden beneath the jungle canopy. That discovery reshaped our understanding of the Maya civilization almost overnight. What now unfolds beneath the sands of Giza could do the same for ancient Egypt. Chapter 4: Depths Beyond Measure. Though still awaiting formal confirmation and the rigor of peer-reviewed validation, the preliminary data points to something staggering: an underground system potentially 10 times the size of the pyramids above it. In archaeological terms, that scale is difficult to fathom. The Great Pyramid alone occupies approximately 2.6 million cubic meters of space. Multiply that by 10, and we are speaking of a subterranean volume exceeding 26 million cubic meters, an architectural feat on par with the vast underground cities of Cappadocia, such as Derinkuyu, which descend multiple levels into the earth. And yet, in Egypt, such revelations are met with more than technical scrutiny. They encounter political and academic resistance. The 2017 discovery by the Scan Pyramids team, which revealed a large void above the Grand Gallery using muon tomography and was published in Nature, is a case in point. Despite the peer-reviewed prestige, Egypt's Ministry of Antiquities dismissed the findings, and leading voices like Zahi Hawass rejected the implications outright. Rewriting the timeline of Egypt's ancient past is a red line for many institutions. The peer review process often acts more as a filter for orthodoxy than an arbiter of evidence. What this new discovery suggests is not just a larger chamber, but a vast, possibly multi-level network. This constructed space may rival above-ground structures in both complexity and sacred intent. If true, this would elevate the Giza Plateau from a surface necropolis to the capstone of an entire subterranean civilization. Such an idea is not without precedent. The Serapeum of Saqqara, long sealed and only fully explored in the 19th century, houses massive subterranean vaults carved to enshrine sacred Apis bulls. The Osirian at Abydos, an enigmatic megalithic structure lying beneath the temple of Seti I, hints at even older construction phases, deeper mysteries, and forgotten rituals. It is not beyond possibility that the pyramid was merely the marker for a far more significant structure buried beneath it. The ancient Egyptians believed the realm of the gods and the dead lay beneath the earth, in the Duat, the underworld. Their most sacred texts describe this realm as a labyrinth of gates, guardians, and shadowed halls. Perhaps these were not only metaphors. Chapter 5: The Geometry of the Deep. According to the research team's latest reports, the hidden complex beneath Giza includes 8 vertical cylindrical shafts, each plunging more than 2,100 feet, approximately 640 meters, into the earth. For comparison, the Osiris shaft descends about 100 feet, and the steepest known pyramid passages, such as those in the Bent Pyramid, reach no more than 40 meters vertically. At 640 meters, these shafts would rival the natural limestone chasms of the world's deepest cave systems. If man-made, they represent a feat far beyond the scope of known pre-dynastic engineering. The imagery gathered through synthetic aperture radar and passive seismic tomography suggests that these shafts are not random, but precisely formed, regular in shape and evenly distributed. Most astonishingly, the researchers report that each shaft is encircled by spiral pathways, descending in a gentle helical arc toward 2 colossal cubic structures, each measuring roughly 250 feet, 80 meters per side. The size of these underground cubes is extraordinary. At over 500,000 cubic meters in volume each, they would be larger than any known chamber in Egypt, dwarfing the King's Chamber, the Osirian, or even the Serapeum vaults. Their deliberate geometry, perfect cubes embedded deep within the limestone, evokes not just advanced engineering, but powerful symbolic intent. In ancient metaphysics, the cube was not a neutral shape. In Platonic thought, it represented Earth, the embodiment of order, balance, and material form. In Egyptian sacred geometry, the square and cube formed the base pattern upon which temples were laid and cosmos is modeled. Beneath the temple lay the cubes of time, unmoving and eternal, in which all memory of the earth was kept. Emerald tablets of Thoth, Tablet 9. Helical ramps encircling vertical shafts recall architectural theories about how the Great Pyramid itself may have been constructed. French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin proposed an internal spiral ramp within the pyramid's core, a design that may now find new relevance underground. These spirals may have served as processional walkways, ritual corridors, or functional descent paths, designed not just for movement, but for transformation. The imaging data reportedly reveals 5 additional structures, multi-leveled, angular, and interconnected by straight passageways. These resemble the urban logic of an underground city. Their architecture evokes Derinkuyu in Turkey, the Naur tunnels in France, or the more recent discoveries of multi-tiered subterranean fortresses in China's Bajingzi region. But unlike those examples, Egypt holds no known precedent for such engineered depth. And yet, in its texts and myths, there are echoes. The Amduat and Book of Gates describe the underworld as a series of gates, caverns, and regions, 12 levels deep, each guarded and navigable only by the initiated. These were not formless abysses but structured, named domains mapped with the precision of an architectural blueprint. Ancient Egypt was not merely obsessed with the afterlife. It was obsessed with building it, modeling it, mapping it into stone and shadow. Technologically, it is now possible to visualize such deep-level structures through advanced radar systems. Phase shift delays reveal density changes, and AI-powered pattern recognition can distinguish between natural formations and intentional design. The age of speculative mapping has ended. The age of spectral archaeology has begun. Chapter 6. The Echo of Amenti. For the first time, the research team has openly acknowledged what many in the esoteric community have long suspected. The existence of vast chambers beneath the Earth's surface, comparable in size to the pyramids themselves, has a remarkably strong correlation with the legendary Halls of Amenti, explained Nicole Chicolo. The Halls of Amenti, while not part of academic Egyptology, have haunted the imagination of mystics, alternative scholars, and spiritual seekers for over a century. Most notably described in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Atlantean, a 20th century esoteric text attributed to Monsieur Dorial, Amenti is said to lie deep beneath the Great Pyramid, a vast library of eternal records, hidden masters, and Atlantean science preserved since the dawn of time. Deep in Earth's heart lie the Halls of Amenti, far neath the islands of sunken Atlantis. Emerald Tablets, Tablet 2. Whether symbolic or literal, the Halls of Amenti have endured in Hermetic traditions, mirrored in the writings of Edgar Cayce and Rudolf Steiner, and echoed in the work of modern investigators like Graham Hancock and John Anthony West. And now, thanks to synthetic aperture radar and seismic imaging, physical spaces matching the scale and symmetry described in such texts are appearing beneath the surface of Giza. Even mainstream Egyptology has its own echo of Amenti. The Amduat, Book of Gates, and Book of What Is in the Underworld depict the Duat not as a mythic void, but as a structured landscape, layered with gates, guardians, and knowledge. They suggest a belief system in which the afterlife was as architecturally elaborate as any temple above ground. The Halls of Amenti may be symbolic, but symbols point to real things, especially when they appear repeatedly across cultures and epochs. According to Chicolo, the research has revealed cylindrical structures aligned beneath all 3 of the primary pyramids, Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaure. Each shaft appears to serve as an entry point into the greater underground system, implying not just intentionality but symmetry, a network that mirrors the alignment of the pyramids above. This triadic pattern, 3 pyramids above, 3 shafts below, is more than architectural. It may reflect a hermetic truth embedded in ancient Egypt's sacred geometry. As above, so below. The pyramids, long interpreted as celestial markers, may also have functioned as terrestrial gateways. Or the initiatory rituals in the Egyptian mystery schools were often conducted underground, in sacred darkness, where the initiate symbolically died and was reborn. While this is most often attributed to mythology, the presence of real, vast, and structured subterranean spaces adds weight to ancient claims. The doors of the sky and earth, frequently referenced in the pyramid texts, may not have been mere metaphor. They may have described literal portals between the realms of the living and the divine. In Teotihuacan, Mexico, a radar scan in 2003 revealed a sealed tunnel beneath the Pyramid of the Feathered Serpent, leading to a chamber containing ritual offerings interpreted by some as a symbolic underworld. Similar tunnel networks have been found beneath temples in Peru, Turkey, and India, all suggesting a global archetype. Sacred geometry does not end at the surface. For the first time, the halls of amenti are no longer relegated to legend. They may be being mapped as we speak. Chapter 7. Half Measures and Hidden Chambers. Even as the data mounts and public interest surges, the academic consensus continues to tread cautiously, acknowledging the possibility of minor anomalies beneath the Giza Plateau, while firmly rejecting the idea of anything grander. Professor Lawrence Conyers, while conceding that shafts or chambers might exist beneath the pyramids, dismissed the notion of an expansive subterranean city as implausible. His stance, cautious, familiar, represents the default posture of establishment archaeology. Offer a partial concession to the data while ensuring the core narrative remains untouched. You might find chambers or shafts, but talk of an entire underground city? That's not how we understand Egyptian construction. Attributed to Professor Lawrence Conyers, University of Denver. Subterranean structures in Egypt are neither theoretical nor undocumented. The Osiris shaft beneath the causeway of Khafra's pyramid descends through multiple levels, ending in a chamber partially submerged in water and containing a massive granite sarcophagus. Early 20th century surveys by Selim Hassan and Emil Berrez noted additional sealed shafts and inaccessible tunnels around the Sphinx and the pyramids, many of which remain unexplored due to political or bureaucratic constraints. Subterranean infrastructure is the least understood aspect of ancient architecture, precisely because it remains unseen and, in many cases, deliberately hidden. In Turkey, the Derinkuyu complex spans 18 levels underground and could house up to 20,000 people. It includes chapels, granaries, schools, and ventilation shafts cut directly into volcanic rock. In Peru, beneath the Temple of the Sun at Cusco, the Chincana labyrinth winds invisibly through the Andes. These examples show that large-scale underground engineering was well within the reach of ancient civilizations, especially when driven by ritual or cosmological purposes. Ironically, Conyers himself invoked the sacred architecture of Mesoamerica to frame his critique, pointing out that cultures like the Maya and Teotihuacanos often built pyramids above caves or ceremonial chambers. However, rather than undermining the Giza findings, this analogy only strengthens their plausibility. At Teotihuacan, the Pyramid of the Sun was built directly over a natural lava tube, a symbolic passage to the underworld. At Chichen Itza, the Temple of Kukulkan sits atop a cenote, a deep natural sinkhole associated with the Mayan Xibalba, or underworld. These were not structural accidents. They were deliberate fusions of the sacred and the subterranean. The cave beneath the pyramid was not just a foundation. It was the source of the pyramid's power, its meaning, and its purpose. Dr. Linda Manzanilla, Teotihuacan, City of Water, City of Fire, 2017. Ancient Egyptian mythology shares this cosmological layering. The first temple was said to rise upon the Benben, emerging from the waters of chaos. Many scholars see this as allegorical. But when water-filled chambers like those in the Osiris shaft are considered, the symbolism begins to intersect with the physical. Of course, Conyers also raised a technical objection, that SAR technology, especially satellite-based, typically struggles to detect features at great depths. And this is partially valid. Radar penetration is limited by frequency, resolution trade-offs, and geological composition. Wet limestone and high-density strata can scatter or absorb radar waves, diminishing clarity at greater depths. However, the technology used in the Giza project does not rely solely on SAR. It fuses synthetic aperture radar with passive seismic tomography, AI-driven anomaly recognition, and multi-source data integration. While SAR on its own has depth limits, combining it with seismic and gravitational methods allows for deep anomaly detection, especially when matched with symmetrical geometry. European researchers recently detected underground cavities beneath Venice and Istanbul at depths exceeding 100 meters using Insar. Though the Giza shafts are reported at 640 meters, beyond direct radar imaging, their presence can be inferred through indirect geophysical signatures. To admit the possibility of an entire city beneath the pyramids is to admit that Egypt's past remains unwritten, that sacred texts and esoteric traditions may contain more than allegory, and that the known world sits atop foundations we do not yet comprehend. Chapter 8: Viral Truth and Forbidden Currents. Despite institutional hesitation, the discovery has detonated across the internet. Social media platform X, Reddit threads, YouTube breakdowns, and TikTok explainers erupted with speculation. Hashtags like Halls of Amenti and Pyramid Gate trended globally. While academia filtered the news through polite disbelief, public imagination ignited. And this pattern is familiar. When Göbekli Tepe first entered public awareness, alternative forums, documentaries, and passionate amateurs elevated its significance years before scholarly journals. Similarly, the Bosnian Pyramid and Yonaguni terraces reached public attention through viral videos despite institutional dismissal. While academia drags its feet, the public runs with new ideas, sometimes too far, but sometimes in exactly the right direction. The new findings have reignited fringe theories that the pyramids were never tombs but machines. A popular theory links the underground structures to an ancient energy system, pyramids functioning as resonant devices tuned to Earth's vibrational frequencies. Christopher Dunn popularized this in the Giza Power Plant, 1998, noting piezoelectric properties of granite, resonant internal dimensions, and precise alignment. If the pyramid was a machine, it would explain its anomalous precision, its enigmatic internal design, and its total lack of burial evidence. Tesla also features in speculation due to his work on wireless energy transmission and harmonic resonance, which parallels some pyramid theories despite the lack of direct evidence that he addressed pyramids. In 2020, a peer-reviewed Journal of Applied Physics article modeled electromagnetic frequencies trapped in the Great Pyramid, supporting its functional resonance, Morozov et al. 2020. Esoteric traditions long viewed the pyramid as a machine for the soul, used for initiation and transformation. Now modern physics has begun confirming ancient mystical intuitions. Chapter 9: The Megastructure and the Mind of the Masses. The megastructure they just found underneath the Giza pyramids is probably the most important discovery to ever be made in our lifetimes, wrote one user on Marga. When people feel awe toward ancient sites, it is not naivete. It is the intuitive recognition that these monuments are older and more important than our textbooks admit. The public, often dismissed as gullible, has intuitively recognized truths ahead of academia. The online buzz around Göbekli Tepe, years before academic confirmation, proves this. Rediscoveries like Angkor Wat's hidden cities via LIDAR were also first driven by grassroots interest. Jungian psychology helps explain this. The pyramid is an archetype, a vessel of the collective unconscious symbolizing order, eternity, and ascent. Discoveries beneath the Great Pyramid strike not only history but myth, and myths move people. As news spread, interpretations multiplied, connections to Atlantis, lost global civilizations, extraterrestrial intervention, Tesla-style energy networks, cataclysm survival chambers, gateways, temples of rebirth, or dormant technologies. Speculation is not the enemy of science. It is the soul of inquiry. The problem arises when institutions pretend to know everything already. Public fascination fills the void left by academic silence. Where institutions resist due to politics or risk, the public crafts narratives driven by a deeper hunger. To know what lies beneath that history's surface hides profound truths. Consider Schliemann, who unearthed Troy after peer ridicule. The public believed the legend first, ruins confirmed it. At Giza, this process unfolds in real time. YouTube documentaries analyze radar data, TikTok creators map star alignments, Reddit users cross-reference hermetic texts with seismic graphs. What academia dismisses as noise history may later embrace as the first signs of a paradigm shift. The megastructure remains a hypothesis but has already taken form in millions of minds. Chapter 10. Guardians of the Threshold. Despite the excitement, the greatest barrier remains permission to excavate. Beneath Giza lies not only stone but layers of regulation, nationalism, and institutional control. Nothing is excavated in Egypt without the express consent of the ministry. Even whispers of hidden chambers can provoke a shutdown. The Supreme Council of Antiquities, SCA, tightly controls access. Permits are rare. Investigations must pass political filters, often requiring approval from senior figures like Dr. Zahi Hawass. Giza is a national symbol, geopolitical asset, and ideological cornerstone. Journey history reveals the fragility of permissions. Rudolf Gantenbrink's 1993 robot found a sealed door in the Great Pyramid's shaft, but exploration halted immediately. A decade passed before limited follow-ups. Reporting was restricted. The Scan Pyramids team confirmed a void in 2017, but lacks approval for access. Any suggestion that contradicts the established view of Egyptian history is immediately labeled a hoax, a fantasy, or worse. Suppression reasons include tourism concerns, site preservation, national narrative control, and institutional rivalries. This pattern is global. Lascaux caves remain closed. Puma Punku and Vatican archives are restricted. The past is not only buried, but protected, sometimes from questions. The Khafre Research Project faces this silence. Though armed with cutting-edge imaging, without physical excavation, the underground remains officially unacknowledged. The irony, we can see beneath Earth without digging, model the invisible, yet are stopped by silence. Chapter 11. The Gatekeeper of Giza. Dr. Zahi Hawass, former head of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, quickly dismissed the claims. The rumors that have spread about the Egyptian pyramids, that there are columns under King Khafre's pyramid, have no basis in truth, and there is no scientific evidence to support this claim, he declared, widely quoted in Arab and international media. His rhetoric is categorical, assertive, and dismissive, typical of his decades-long media presence. There is nothing beneath the Sphinx. There is no mystery. I know everything about the Sphinx. Zahi Hawass, NBC interview, 1999. Hawass balances scholarship and nationalist myth-making. Admirers see him as a protector of Egypt's past, critics as gatekeepers silencing dissent. Hawass reduced the shafts to columns, denying the radar's scientific basis, dismissing findings gathered without his approval. It's not that Hawass doesn't believe in anomalies, it's that he refuses to believe they might change the story he's already committed to. He previously ridiculed the Sphinx water erosion hypothesis and Orion correlation theory and dismissed the Scan Pyramids void, all reinforcing orthodoxy. Beneath this denial lies institutional fear of rewriting Egypt's story. For Hawass, pyramids must remain tombs. Only Egyptians should interpret Egypt's past. Zahi Hawass, National Geographic, 2005. While protective against exploitation, this exclusivity endangers inquiry. Chapter 12. Geological calculation and age estimation. If the underground complex lies around 1,980 meters deep, and assuming an average vertical geological movement, uplift or sedimentation, of roughly 0.005 meters per year, then 1,980 meters divided by 0.0005 meters per year equals 3,960,000 years, approximately 4 million years. This means that if it was initially built at ground level, it could be 4 million years old. A structure beneath the Giza Plateau dating back 4 million years would vastly predate all known human civilizations. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, emerged roughly 300,000 years ago, and the earliest tool users appeared approximately 2.5 million years ago. There is no current evidence of construction or architecture at this scale from these early periods. Therefore, the existence of such a structure would suggest the presence of an unknown civilization, possibly advanced precursor hominids, or even non-human or extraterrestrial builders. If validated, a 4 million year old underground city beneath Giza would profoundly alter our understanding of archaeology, anthropology, and human history.